my last video referred to a concept that I coined that's partly original, partly a synthesis of things that I've heard and self-improvement all in one. And I'm probably going to do a video on this in the future, but I came up with this concept called the grade 7 mindset versus like the CEO mindset or the headmaster mindset. And it's somewhat similar to all the, alpha versus beta, Jeffery versus Adonis. It's the grade 7 mindset versus let's call it the CEO mindset, right? I also said the headmaster mindset, but I think CEO is better, even though they're not completely like linear progressions from one another, right? Whereas like grade 7 is like one end, and then the headmaster is like the complete other end. But I think CEO captures it better on what I'm trying to give. But there are a lot of similarities, at least in my experience, on like where I was when I was like really young, and the ideal that I want to reach based on my knowledge of self-improvement and what a man should be like, in my opinion. I wrote down some notes, just gonna go through them really quickly. Grade 7 always thinks on the future, and I put onto that he thinks about the future and also on the past. And a CEO will always just think on the present and maybe a little bit on the future. So let's dive into that. So firstly, what does it mean to always be thinking about the past? Well, it's really a matter of the errors that you made in your past, and you're using that now to determine where you go forward. So say for example you make a couple mistakes. Say for example you did something, you spoke up once and you were highly embarrassed. You're never going to do it again because you let that own trauma from that event affect you. But if you think purely on the present, like a CEO, you're thinking about what's the best thing I can do right now, regardless of what happened in the past. What's the best thing I can do right now to get the future that I want, whether that be long, middle, or short term. And that's why I said he also thinks partially on the future, because you have to think long term. You also have to think about the results of your actions, but it's in a positive way. It's purely from the gaze of, okay, how do I do this now so that I can get a positive result in the future? What a grade 7 person will do, or what a person with anxiety will do, right, is that they'll think about they'll obsess over the past and then use that and map a future based on those errors. So they basically relinquish control, because they don't say, well, let me think about this moment right now, and let me get into it right now, and then make sure that the result of that is what I want it to be. Whereas the CEO guy is just like, listen, this is all I can do right now. I'm just going to map my future onto the events that happen right now that are fully in my control. Grade 7, he doubts himself, whereas the CEO mindset person, they are confident. They believe in themselves. Self-explanatory. If you're young and you're not experienced and you haven't tested yourself, you're always gonna doubt yourself. You're always gonna doubt yourself when it comes to certain things, and the only way to get around that is just to do them. I don't want to say rite of passage. It's something you do in life. You want to feel confident in something, you have to do it, and you have to, in order to do that, you have to let go of those doubts. Now, you can't always control that. You can't always say, hey brain, stop telling me that I can't do it. You can't do that. But what you can do is, because your brain gives you both. Your brain is going to give you the positive ones, I can do it. Or your brain is going to give you the you can't do it. Your brain is just a constant stream of thoughts. And it's up to you, because you are different from your thoughts. It's up to you to focus on the ones that are helpful. I also said this in my last video, but focus on the thoughts that are helpful and use them to boost you up. And then the thoughts that are negative, just pass them as a cloud. They're just clouds. It's up to you to decide what you extract from your own brain sometimes, right? Because you can't always control what you think. And for a lot of people, this is why affirmations can be a good thing, but also a negative thing. So affirmation is like telling yourself, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. But a lot of people have such a low self-esteem that when they tell themselves, this is going to happen, their brain gives them every reason not to believe that. So it just makes it worse, right? So if you're in a situation where you can't not doubt yourself, right? Then just do it anyways. And then the feelings will come after. That's how you get to the CEO mindset. And once you do that enough, once you put yourself in these hard situations enough, then you will develop a confidence, and then you can start to actually believe in yourself. But it comes from actions first. You don't believe in yourself by doing anything. You're not delusional. None of us are delusional, right? We can't have self-confidence if we don't have competence, right? So, and we all have competence, or we all can develop competence. So that's what we need to focus on. The grade 7 nigga has an ego, and he will do everything in his power to protect it or to preserve it. And the CEO mindset has an ego, yes, but he wants to test it. So again, I referred to this in my previous video, and this is just think of it as if you haven't watched it, by the way, think of it as an add-on to that concept. So it's essentially like, right, when you have an ego, nothing wrong with an ego, but I think a lot of us have egos and we try to protect them, which is the wrong thing to do. Protecting your ego means that you don't do anything. Why don't you preserve your ego by actually putting it to the test? You can actually maybe even expand it. And if you have an ego and it's tested, and you put yourself through these challenges and you succeed because you just work hard and you be humble and you realize, well, okay, to get where I need to get, I need to put in some work in, then you will have your ego, you will feel good, and you will also have results. Whereas you're like a grade 7 mindset, don't do anything, I need to protect my ego, I know I'm smart, I don't need to prove anything, then you won't get anywhere. Okay, again, another thing I mentioned in the last video. So the grade 7 is polite, good, because he is afraid of everyone, bad. He's polite because he's afraid of everyone, whereas the CEO mindset person, he's polite because he respects himself and demands that respect from others. It's simple, I said already. It's just a level of, I think when you're interacting with people, you always have to be respectful. But it's very important to assess where that respect is coming from. And is it genuine? If you're just afraid of everyone and you're polite because you're afraid of everyone, that's not respect, and people will sense that. And it will lead to you, it's gonna be easy to sniff that, to be honest. Whereas if you can be proud of yourself but still have enough humility to just be respectful to other people, which you should be. I think that goes without saying. I think everyone should be, at least at first contact with strangers, everyone should receive a certain level of recognition, right? That's just a good way to start off any interaction, in my opinion. But if you can do that without being scared of the person, but just do it because you want that same treatment back, then it's different, right? It's different, and you're more versatile in social scenarios, because you can also you don't have to play overly polite. You don't have to be overly polite to the point where you don't even think you're talking. You're not even acting as if you're talking to another human being with humor, right? You can be humorous when you're a CEO mindset. You can be humorous. You can make jokes. You can establish a better connection. You can have better relationships. Whereas with a grade 7, everything is just robotic at best, because it's just a cop-out to avoid any sort of confrontation, conflict, or whatsoever, which you can't truly avoid it, because people make jokes. People realize that, yeah, serious, bro. Next thing, the grade 7, he will criticize those people who are better than him. So have you ever, this is something I realized this pretty early. I didn't make this link, but I realized it's pretty late in high school, but early in compared to where I am now. In the sense that there's some people, I think if somebody is extraordinary in one particular thing, or maybe not extraordinary, but they're really good in something that maybe we don't even want to be that good in, it's hard for so many people to just give credit to someone that they don't already like. It's not a matter of, okay, if you dislike them, but for some people, they see someone that they don't know, they don't have any feelings towards them, they don't like them, or they don't dislike them, and they see that they're doing something well. It's so hard for them to just automatically admit that, wow, this person is really good, and move on, right? It's almost as if their automatic reaction is to make some snarky comment or something funny, like try and be the funny guy to bring them down. Obviously not to their face, because they wouldn't have the balls to do that in the first place, but just among friends. And it's like, well, it's easy to do that because, no criticism, no backlash. But really and truly, I think it just goes to show, like, if someone is really good in something and the first thing you say is something snarky, something sarcastic all the time, no matter what, then after a while you start to see that, bro, you're kind of an L. That's kind of an L thing to do, and it shows the L mindset you have. I think when somebody deserves credit, regardless of how you feel about them, and especially if you don't feel anything towards them, you don't know anything about them, then you should just say, yeah, good job, that was good. You have to praise them. And that's the thing. A lot of people, I think it has to do with the internet as well. A lot of people live in, like, either someone is like, so they're overrated, they're garbage, they're overrated, they're trash, or someone is like the GOAT. And I think this is like magnified by social media. So people, for some reason, always want to drop into camps on everything. I used to watch football TikToks. When I used to use TikTok, I used to watch football TikToks, and it's the same sort of energy. It's like, why this player, probably one of the best players of all time in their position, is overrated? Why this player is better than this player? Why this player is underrated? And people will defend these things so heavily. It's a waste of time, for one. Two, they're great, period. And three, like, what does that say about you? Why? Because you think this is better, why do you have to crap on this other person? And I think it all ties back down to, like, the quality of your own feelings and thoughts to what's quality, what's not quality, and why you decide to back something or not. I think everyone should just look on talent and look on hard work and say, yo, that's good. Well, as I said, the grade 7 guy, he criticizes people that are just better than him, that are just better, regardless of the quality that they actually show, because they just want to make a point. And the CEO equivalent is that they learn from those people that are better than him. Quite simple. People are going to be better than you, so you might as well learn from them. I'm saying, even if you're not trying to do the same thing that they're doing, at least appreciate their work ethic. Try and appreciate, okay, how did they improve themselves to a point? How did they learn the skills they learned? That kind of thing. It's simple. Can't go wrong with that. Put your energy into that. Put your jealousy into that instead of putting it into trying to bring everyone down to your current level. Try and get yourself up. You know what I'm saying? So the grade 7 guy, he argues with people that don't agree with him. And a CEO person accepts the fact that he can't convince everyone. And this goes back to a book I read, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And one of the things that comes up, I don't remember in which part of the book exactly, whether it was in how to make people like you, how to manage people. It comes up time and time throughout the book in different ways. Do not argue with people. The first thing is that's a waste of time, right? Because most likely, unless you're in a setting where it's a debate, right? And he wants to hear your opinion and you want to hear his opinion, it's not gonna work. If someone says something and you disagree with it, don't argue with them. It's like, at most, you can raise a correction if it's that important to you. You can say what you think. But if he just bats it off, then don't bother. And certainly you don't want to make it into anything toxic, right? Because for one, arguments, correcting people unnecessarily, it just leads to resentment. And as trivial as that seems, it's true. Right? Because humans are not always logical creatures. We have our own biases, we have our own insecurities, and arguing with people is one way of not only propagating these insecurities and biases onto other people. It kind of makes people more strong in their opinions, you could say, but it also shows up our own insecurities. The fact that we feel as if we need to use our time. We need to use our time to convince this person on this topic that probably isn't even important, bro. And I'm talking about myself as well when I say we, because I'm a person, I love to argue. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to study law, but I honestly think I could. And I've been told already before that, I could do law. And it's true, because I just have that type of brain. I'm always ready to go. I'm not on that Ben Shapiro type shit, bro. I'm always ready to go. Always, on any topic, come. I'm ready to talk about it. Let's talk about that. Because to me, this is just me talking personally, I don't think an argument is that bad. I quite like it. if it's respectful, like we don't have to insult each other, but if I'm willing to say my thing, you're willing to say your thing, I'm good. But not everyone has that. A lot of people, when their opinions are challenged, they got offended. And a lot of people put their opinions out there because they themselves are insecure. For me, it's not like that, and for you, it may not be that as well. I just like putting my opinions out there because I like hearing the opinions of other people. Some people put them out there so that they can bully the opinions of other people. You get what I'm saying? But most people do not like to argue, but they will do it if you incense them. So don't do it. It's a waste of time for everyone. The grade 7 nigga never admits when he likes a girl. Always, I like the girl, and he just thinks about her, and I don't need to. It's just awkward. And the CEO guy, he goes over, cold approaches, says, hey, I like you, this, that, gets rejected, gets accepted. You get the picture. Self-explanatory. Just does it. Doesn't matter. And if the girl rejects him, then he just moves on. Abundance mindset, you know what I'm saying? Grade 7 mindset, he is weak, lazy, CEO, he's strong, he's fit, he's active. I guess, someone once said, I don't know who, someone once said, sharp body, sharp mind. Now, it's true. We have a sharp body, have a sharp mind, and there are plenty of reasons. Now, I could say mind-spirit connection. I could say when you exercise, your brain sharpness improves, and all of them are true. I could talk about it on a surface level, or I could talk about it on a scientific level and quote studies. But the point is, if you're someone that doesn't exercise and you wonder why, if you're someone who doubts the mental benefits from exercising, like everyone knows that when you exercise you look better, but the mental ones as well, just having a decent in shape body improves how you think. And honestly, if you're still doubting that, bro, then you're lying to yourself. It has to be cognitive dissonance. There's no way you've never realized this connection before. All right? The grade 7 person, he makes decisions very slowly and he changes them very quickly, whereas the CEO is the opposite. He makes his decisions very quickly, but he changes them very slowly. Now, you may think that it's actually better to make a decision slowly, especially if it's really important. But the truth is, I believe that if you're making an important decision, you should just think about that. But you should think about it quickly, because if it's an important decision you have to make, chances are you don't have a lot of time to make it. And changing opinion very rapidly, when you change your opinion very rapidly, it's a sign that you're not sure. It's just a sign that you're not sure, really and truly. And when you change it very slowly, it's a sign that you are sure. And just having the ability to make these decisions quickly and change them very slowly, it shows a level of confidence, it shows a level of commitment, it shows a level of maturity that you need to kind of have success, in my opinion. Like, it shows a level of reliability. Like, imagine if you're in a war, right? And your general, everyone's getting together, and you're going to go off to war. Your captain or the general is like telling you everything you need to do. I don't know the levels of command in the army, but you get the picture. And who are you gonna trust more? The guy that's like, well, if we did this and maybe we did this, and he just goes on and on and on. And then as soon as he makes his opinion, you're literally about to go on the battlefield. He's like, no, guys, wait, do this instead. It doesn't matter how well the correction is. Because he's changed his mind so often, and because it's so unclear, because of that, you're gonna do garbage. Right? So whereas if the guy is very certain from the beginning, and you know what you understand the message clearly because he didn't double down, or because he doubled down, he didn't double back, and it's just one message very clearly, you at least know what to do. And simply having that confidence is going to increase the chances of success. Regardless of how well thought out the plan is, to a reasonable degree. Obviously, if you put like no thought into it, it's gonna be garbage. But it's always good the quicker you can make a good decision, and the slower you can change that decision, the better. The last thing I have, the grade 7 person mindset. He will reject their own weaknesses, or he will deny their weaknesses, and he will choose instead to label himself. Whereas you can imagine what the CEO guy will do. He'll recognize his weaknesses, and then he'll improve himself. And this is self-explanatory again. It's like there's so much crap. Like, you could honestly have a genetic problem. Like, you could just be born worse. But to be honest, I think that most people have enough raw material working with that they can actually get to somewhere. Like, yeah, maybe you won't look like The Rock, or maybe you won't look like Ngannou or B. Jordan, these people, but you can certainly look better. You know, maybe you won't be Einstein, but you can certainly study this thing if you just put in the work in. So don't listen to labels. Labels are stupid. Honestly, most of them that we use today, the ones that we use today, like Gen Z, most of them are so stupid and have like nothing to do with anything. So just work. Just improve it. They might be true. Again, listen to what's helpful. You know, you might be an introvert. You know, you might have a little autism. I should say that. You might have something going on, but that doesn't mean you can't achieve what you want to achieve. With that being said, those are all the things. I hope you enjoyed the video. So with that being said, I'll thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.